So good morning, everyone. I'm standing here surrounded by all these top law enforcement agency heads and partners, federal, state, county, and city, for a reason. We're here today because another man lost his life and a baby and a mother were shot. All after we delivered the message during the recent GVI call-in, the message that simply put, the community's tired. We're willing to do anything we can do to help you change your life because we want you safe, alive, and free. But if you don't stop, we're going to do what we have to do to stop you. So this is that reaction. Operation Call Out. On Wednesday, December the 14th, approximately 84 members of law enforcement descended on our beloved York, PA, for the purpose of going after the people that continue to put this community at risk. We promised that small group of individuals that shootings would bring police. So here we are, keeping our word. This, all the agencies, the entities, and the partners you see before you, was mobilized in less than a week. And this is going to be what happens each and every time you endanger this community and the good people in it. This is what's coming. So again, we say listen and heed the message. Find a better way and know there's a lot of us who want to help you and help you get there. Hear them. Listen to what the TIF Lowe's, your loved ones, and this community have to say. Hear what they've been trying to tell you. And let me be there to support you. Take the help, make better choices, and be more considerate of your community. We don't want to do it through law enforcement, but as you can see, we will and we can if we have to. So with that said, I'd like to turn the mic over to the GVI law enforcement lead, Lieutenant Matt Irvin from the New York City Police Department, and my colleagues for further comments and to explain a little more about the operation. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. So we had our first call-in in a couple years on October 25th of this year. And at that call-in, we said that we were not going to put up with any more violence, any more gun violence in our city. And if there was more continued gun violence, we were going to lock arms as local, state, and federal partners and come after you. On December 6th, we sadly had a homicide, the first homicide since the call-in. And immediately our patrol division ramped up efforts along with the VIU, the Violence Intervention Unit. And over the next 7 days from the date of the homicide, several firearms-related arrests were made and several firearms were taken off the street. While that was all happening, just like the commissioner said, we locked arms with our state and federal partners. They descended here in York. And on December 14th, Operation Call Out came in. And this is what culminated. On Wednesday, December 14th, the ATF indicted 8 individuals on federal firearms charges. 16 individuals were arrested for firearm and drug charges, out of which 6 were identified group member involved actors. A total of 12 firearms were taken off the streets, and 26 people were arrested for felony and misdemeanor warrants, outstanding warrants. So we told you at the call-in that any gun violence would not be permitted, not by law enforcement, not by the community. And we're here now calling you out to follow through with that promise. We are here to keep our community safe, and that means everyone. We all deserve it, and we will do our part to keep the community safe. I'd like to turn it over to U.S. Attorney Jerry Karam.
Thanks, Lieutenant. It's our honor, the United States Attorney's Office honor, to partner with all of these esteemed law enforcement officials to help make York safe. That's what we're all here for. Our office has been participating in the GVI for some time now. And in our participation, we warn the defendants who are sitting in front of us that if they commit a crime of violence, if they use a gun, that there are going to be significant impacts on it. Well, last week and today shows that those aren't just words. The individuals who were arrested and picked up last week now are going to face the full force and effect of the federal government. And in our partnership, that full force and effect is not only the United States Attorney's Office, it's the FBI, it's the DEA, it's the ATF. And we're here to bring that full force and effect on the defendants to make York safe. And that is the ultimate goal, because the only way we make York safe is to stop the gun violence. And that has to stop right now. They don't say don't make it a federal offense for nothing. When it's a federal offense, there's going to be serious and significant jail time. And these people are going to get serious and significant jail time. So we want you to know that that's what's going to continue to happen as long as the violence continues. We want the people committing the violence to know that we're all in this together. We're collaborating each and every day together, and the violence has to stop. Thank you.
I'm sorry. So next up is going to be District Attorney Dave Sunday.
Good morning, everyone. I'll be as brief as possible. Every citizen has a God-given right to be safe. Children have the right to be safe. People have the right to not have to worry about bullets hitting their homes and their cars and their loved ones as they're going about their business. And the unfortunate reality is that that may not be the case. But what I will tell you is, just like everyone before me said, that we stand here and we work together every single day. It is critical for people to know that this isn't just a press conference. This is what we do every day. We do it every day, and we focus nonstop on identifying individuals who are causing crimes of violence and other people that are associated with them. It is very important for people to also understand that our law enforcement officers are working extremely hard every day. And I, for one, am grateful for the work that they put into this. The Operation Callout resulted in a lot of arrests. Well, they're out there putting their lives on the line to keep you safe, and I, for one, am tremendously grateful for that. I also want to say, because I know this because I've prosecuted these cases for many years, but individuals that have committed these crimes or are thinking about it watch things like this press conference. And I promise you that after the arrest is made and you go to jail, as time goes on, your friends are going to go away. The people that you think are your buddies right now, they're going to stop calling. Your girlfriend's going to stop calling. Everyone will, and you will be left in jail. And that is an absolute critical takeaway for this, for people in this community that are thinking about continuing to commit crimes of violence. Echoing the words of Commissioner Muldrow, this is us showing that we follow through. This is our job, and we will continue to do it. I want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank all of our partners, everyone that's here today, and we look forward to doing everything we can to keep this community safe. Thank you.
Thank you, District Attorney Sunday. The next speaker is our GVI Project Manager, Tiflo.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Today I actually prepared a speech. Usually when I get up here, it's just off the top of my head, but I had to write a few things down. I'm Tiflo, and my job title is the GVI Project Manager, meaning that I have a job to do. GVI is not a program. It's a strategy which a group of community service providers and law enforcement follow. When following the GVI evidence-based strategy, you will witness results. The focus is to keep individuals safe, alive, and free every day. And the way that we accomplish this strategy is by offering resources such as jobs, clothing, food, whatever it is that they need to keep them safe, alive, and free. We also deliver a message. The message is, we want you, again, safe, alive, and free. We want the violence to stop. We will help you as a community if you let us, but law enforcement will arrest you if you make them. On October 25th, GVI conducted a call-in, which that message was clearly given. The next shooting will bring a heavy presence of law enforcement. That was the message. If you look behind me, this is a heavy presence of law enforcement. On December 6th, we had our first homicide since the call-in. And days later, we had a shooting where a mother and a child were struck by gunfire. York City, enough is enough. This community and this team is tired of the violence. We're tired of hearing parents screaming because they lost their child. We're tired of our community being afraid to sit on their porch. We're tired of being afraid and wondering who's next. Our focus is we want more graduations, we want less funerals. We want more success stories and less prison stories. And the only way this will work is if we, as a community, work together. However, crime brings law enforcement. And the Operation Call Out proved that strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiff. Our last speaker is going to be our mayor, Michael Helfrich, and then we'll end with questions.
Thank you. While today is a day where we honor those of us or those that work with us and thank them, and we thank the police officers and the team for a successful mission, it is also heartbreaking that, again, we end up in this position where we have to do this. Because certainly, I know some of us, particularly Tiff and I, know some of these young people. We watch them grow up, and we watch them get into the trouble, and we try and help them. And as Tiff said, we offer services and education. And but still, they go the wrong way, and that's when everybody else steps in and removes them. You know, I like to say that I don't particularly judge anybody. That's not my job, but I do know when somebody has to be removed from our society because they won't follow the rules that say, as District Attorney Sunday said, we all have a right to be safe. We all have a right to enjoy our neighborhood. And a few individuals are taking our rights away, and we're not going to stand for that. So, you know, I just came, sometimes my days are roller coasters. I came from meeting with the university trying to bring more educational opportunities to young people, particularly young city people, to bring new hope. And then my next hour is discussing how life is being taken away from individuals because of their activities. It's very heartbreaking. I want to share one other thing, though. And as the financial kind of overseer of the city, this is part of my job. Think about all of the investment that is being made, all the dollars, all the tax dollars, all the dollars that could be used for job training, for helping families. I want to thank WellSpan for putting in nearly 40% of the costs of our violence intervention unit. All of this money, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars being put because a few individuals, a handful of individuals, are making it bad for all of us. There's so much more we could be doing if it wasn't for a few individuals. So, as always, I implore anyone associated with young people to try and give them support, give them love, give them what they need so they know that their lives are worth more than either ending up in a grave or ending up in a prison. These kids are everything to this city, and every time we put one away, we take something away from all of us. And, you know, I don't think anybody up here likes the idea of what they have to do to keep the rest of us safe, to take young people and put them in prison. But unless young people in this city get more support, unless they're shown their worth, unless they're given the love that they need, we're going to keep going through this cycle. We can't arrest our way out. It doesn't matter how many people. We could put 1,000 people up here, and it's not going to change what happens before these children turn harmful to our society. So again, I just beg everybody that's listening to find somebody in your family, find a neighbor, find a young person that needs support, and help them so they don't end up a statistic like you're seeing today. And thank you again, everybody, for your work.
All right, with that, we'll take any questions. Ed?
I don't know who to address this to, but the question is, how many individuals were arrested over what period of time, and to what degree were they involved in gun violence in the city?
Lieutenant Irvin?
The amount of people that were arrested were from the day after the homicide, so December 7th until December 14th. And then
How many?
for the whole time, from December 7th till December 14th, 16 people were arrested for firearm and drug-related offenses. 6 of those were GMI members, and then that doesn't count, those were all new charges. So it does not count the people that were arrested by the United States Marshal Service and the York County Sheriff's Office.
To what degree do you feel that these individuals are directly responsible for many of the 21 homicides that have occurred in the city of York in 2022?
I mean, they're directly related. And then part of the strategy here is that it doesn't have to be just the person that is committing the violence. It could be anybody else in the group that's facilitating the violence or there during the violence or encouraging the violence. So like the mayor said, we have a small group of people in our city that decide to commit violence. Out of that small group of people, 6 of them were arrested in the last 14 days.
Are they all in jail?
I don't have the information on that. Yes, ma'am.
Like Ed mentioned, there's been 21 homicides, the deadliest year in York in over 2 decades. Can you still say that these efforts are working to address the problem of gun violence?
Thank you. And it's a good question. At the end of the day, I feel comfortable standing here and saying yes. These are, like the mayor spoke to, these are complicated issues and concerns that come together to create this problem. So it's going to take very comprehensive solutions. So I absolutely think that efforts like Operation Call Out is going to be necessary. I think operations like our gun squad that you saw with Scarecrow and the ATF earlier this year, all our enforcement efforts that we get through Lieutenant Irvin with respect to our violence intervention unit on the street. It's going to take it all. And additionally, the work that we're doing with our Credible Messenger team and our outreach component with TIFLO, it's going to continue to take it all to solve it because the problem is so big. the partners, the work that probation is doing, the outreach that's being done in the correctional facilities, and trying to continue to get the buy-in from our community to say out loud, enough is enough. No, we're not, this isn't acceptable. It's going to continue to take all that. I'm not deterred. We're not deterred by with what we're doing because of the number hitting 21 this year. Just as quick as the homicides are up, the overall number of shootings is down. So a bullet a little to the left, a little to the right, we never know if that ends up being thrown, our direction or not. Is our outlook, does the picture end up being different as a result of that? But I do know that this work is a good work, and we're not going to veer away from the strategy. If at all, we're going to apply even more pressure, because at the end of the day, all I want to say is you can't shoot a baby in this town. And that should be more than just enough to get law enforcement upset. That should get the community upset. We have to have some limits.
I just wanted to jump in and kind of differentiate the group violence intervention is very specific to individuals involved in groups. So in what we would probably in the past call gangs, but there's a lot of fluid movement of individuals between these different groups now, so we don't use the word gangs. But that is what GVI is about. That is what that strategy very specifically is about. And what is the number for GMI homicides this year? What are we at, 5?
I don't have the numbers off.
Okay. Probably about 25% or about 5 or 6 are actually these group member involved. So when he says GMI, it stands for group member involved. This program is reaching out to individuals that are falling into groups that promote violence. And we are trying to find ways to bring them back, to give them other kinds of opportunities. There are no other programs that I know of right now that, other than GVI, that are reaching into the community and saying you are, even if we don't know you, that you are worth more than this. And I want to parallel because of our, we do things called customs, where we actually go to the house of individuals that either were involved in violence or somehow are associated with violence. And while this same activity was going on, while the violence was going on, while these arrests were being made, we were also going out as a group door to door to individuals that have been involved with violence or are at risk of being involved in violence. And you would really be surprised at how well a group of individuals walking up to a house was received by some teenagers that otherwise, might have been running with some hard people. But they were happy to see us, and they actually accepted our support and our love. And there's, as Commissioner Muldrow said, this is so complex, and it's one person at a time. And this is the right strategy for this time. The whole nation is going through a gun violence issue that needs to be controlled in Washington, D.C., and isn't being controlled in Washington, D.C. Most of the homicides here in York are part of a bigger issue that is surging through the United States.
Of the 12 firearms recovered, how many have been tied to shootings from this year, including the homicides? And then it also mentioned quantities of cocaine and marijuana were seized. What were the numbers on that as well?
Irv, do you want to handle that?
Sure. So with some testing and all that, we can figure out, we're in the process of seeing if any of these firearms were related to, it's too early to tell right now. I can tell you though, excuse me, out of those guns, 2 of them were the Ghost guns, the 80% polymers, and we did get 1 auto sear, which is a federal offense for possession of an auto sear. Basically makes your handgun a machine gun. So, and then what was your other question?
Just on the quantities of cocaine and marijuana.
Right. The quantities of marijuana was just over 2 pounds, and the quantity of cocaine was just over an ounce.
And you mentioned one of those guns was the conversion rolled out a handgun to fire more rounds at a time. What were the other guns? Were they long guns?
We had one rifle. The rest were pistols, and out of those, there was 2 of the ghost guns, the ones that are untraceable, without serial numbers, that can be kind of bought and sold without any type of history.
And Ed, you have.
Commissioner, so 2023, a week or so away, what do you want to say about the coming year?
That again, and you know, you and I just recently talked. This was necessary. This had to be done, and I don't want that to be lost as people get into the subtle nuances of how many guns it was, or how large of a quantity of drugs it may have been. I need people to understand that what this was, you shook up our community. The individuals, that small group that the mayor and Attorney Sunday talked about, you shook up our community, that small group. So this was an effort to shake them up. There's individuals sitting in jail right now that otherwise wouldn't have been locked up because of this. And that's what this was about. You offended, you hurt, you shook up our community, so we were shaking that group up. That's what this was. That was the purpose of this, to let them know that we keep our word. She continually has told people, the probation department has continually told people, Tiff Lowe has continually expressed that we're willing to do anything to help you turn your life around. But if you don't, we're sending somebody to your door. This was keeping that word. This was keeping that promise, sending people to the doors, 84 of them to people's doors. So now with respect to looking at next year, I understand the 21. I'm hurt by the 21. Like the mayor said, like Tiff Lowe said, this is my town. So I actually know them. But I'm also, again, like I told you, Ed, I'm not discouraged because I know that we're continuing to fight and do everything that we can this year. And I'm so super excited about the things that are coming and in store for next year with the help of city government, help of the mayor, and some of the things we're going to be rolling out moving forward to help continue to take things up a notch to get it to where we need to be. Because at the end of the day, like the mayor said, it's not acceptable, but we understand that we're battling an issue that's everywhere. It's the reason why the government just rolled out millions of dollars. It's the reason why I was able to help participate in a vote through the Governor's Commission on Crime and Delinquency to give communities throughout this state access to millions of dollars in trying to help fight gun violence, because the issue is so prominent and it's everywhere. So we will continue to do the things that we need to do. But as an agency head, a department head, and a leader like all the other leaders up here, I'm never going to give up hope. You get knocked down one day, you get back up, you shake it off, and you believe in the people that work for you, because we are going to get this thing done, because we have to. Any other questions? I don't duck any. Thank you very much.